right, welcome. This is episode 3 of The Between Stars and Suns. All right, so let's see. Recapping from last time, um, mysterious factotum comes to Hargrave House of Ms. Bloom, and Lord Oda was being a bit obnoxious, as usual, and investigations were done with the creature as well as with the new threat, which is St. Cecilia's Gargoyle. All right. And then last we left off, it's like we were entering into, finishing up dusk phase, I should say, and then we were going to enter into night phase. The unseen that we will be doing for this is a night at the Grand Guignol, the baker's son. But before we get to that, before we start off night phase, I just want to check in with Smoke. Welcome back, Smoke. You were probably very busy elsewhere during last session.
Yeah.
So,
Could you give me a short recap of Saint Cecilia's Gargoyle?
yes, in fact, let's go ahead. So basically, Father O'Donnell, the dean of St. Cecilia's Cathedral, basically knocked on the doors of Hargrave House, and he shared that for the past month, his fellow clergy have been coming to him with reports of statues that move and the sensation of always being watched at the cathedral. He was chalking it up to the Holy Spirit, but then last Sunday, Wesley Burke, one of his deacons, was found hanging from the rafters, the chest splayed open above the pulpit. So, yeah, Father O'Donnell has paused normal services temporarily, given the body to authorities, and yeah, he's heard about Hargrave House's reputation as investigators into the paranormal, and hopes that you might clear Saint Cecilia's of this unholy blight. Um, so, according to Ms. Bloom, this creature entity thing has taken the form of what looks like a gigantic hound with many eyes and wings. And the threshold question for this threat, which is a complexity 2, is what entity gave the gargoyle life? Demon, spirit, or man? All right. And then I believe the threshold question for Creature of Cremorne Gardens was answered from last episode as well. Is the creature real or is it a hoax? It was decided real, and that led to the next question, which is, if it is real, what does the creature want? Which is a complexity 4. And then you would resolve the threat by luring the creature to you, then destroying it, or convincing it to go back to wherever it came from. Your choice. All right. So there are, I believe, 3 clues on the table for the Creature of Cremorne Gardens. Let me just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4. 4 clues available to answer that question to resolve the threat if you want, or you can gather more clues if you can during the night phase. And then St. Cecilia's has 3 clues on the table. So again, I mean, there's sufficient enough clues on both threats to be able to answer yet another question if you so choose, or again, seeing what kind of investigation you can get up to for the night phase. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Ben brought up a good point
Mm-hmm.
last session when we were answering the question. With these kind of threshold questions, it sort of sets up the fiction. It's like the universe building question, really,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so like with Cremor Gardens, we've established that like weird sea creatures are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like we have enough questions that we could answer the first question for Saint Cecilia's. We would
Okay.
just have to figure out like what direction we want to go with it.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, again, you have 3 options for where you want to go with that question, with the answer. And so does anybody have a theory right now that they want to propose before we move on to night phase?
What is the complexity of the question again?
2.
2? 4?
For
It's
the
2.
for St. Cecilia's Gargoyle, it's 2.
Yeah.
Complexity 2. Demon, spirit, or man?
I'm definitely feeling between demon and spirit because I
Same.
don't want man.
Yeah, no. My initial thought was that it was a demon. And I could use two clues for it if we want, but the idea was that the stone that Lord Oda was given, the red stone, was some kind of occult artifact. But maybe there's some some Enochian sigils carved into it or something like that. But that's basically, that might be the thing that is either in command or is like a beacon to it. But then the side character's body hanging off the cathedral's roof was sort of just like a show of the maliciousness of this creature.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Thinking that I know this is getting into answering a question.
Yeah, I mean, and you can totally do that whenever.
That's what I was. That's what I was doing.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, I just want to make sure we're okay with doing that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the body hanging from the roof is a premonition of the future of what will happen to a side character. We haven't determined who that was yet.
Yeah.
Right. That it's like who saw it? It was the factotum, correct?
Yeah.
Like it was this like a dark like image of what he like foresaw, or there's something that like I'm not sure if we want to like do time stuff, but like just like a feeling of what's going to happen if we don't figure this out. And so that would like imply something about fate or whatever. I think a demon would be very cool because it would establish like a new type of being, right, in this universe.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how we answer this question kind of colors what is a demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is it possessing someone, or is it like is it something possessing the statue, or is it like it's what entity gave the gargoyle life. It's like, why did it give it to me is kind of something that I'm trying to figure out.
Because you're a demon.
Yeah, I mean that could be true. Yeah. Or like
no,
if that is like
I'm not mad at like the body not actually being a physical body, but actually just being more of like a illusory or like a an omen sort of thing.
I mean, I'm happy if you want to take it as an omen. I mean, it's like it was spotted by the kid.
Yeah,
I will remind you that
you mean the factotum?
Well, the
factotum
talked with a kid.
The kid
had a kid.
To.
I forgot there was a kid.
Yeah.
So it is secondhand.
And obviously that the kid couldn't get up to the rooftops to double check. So I mean, body may not even be there. So
well, my other thing, sort of like echoing what I had brought into this with the whole like many eyes thing, as far as describing what it was.
Sounds like an angel.
Well, that's the thing though, is demons are fallen angels.
Oh,
so
okay. I see that.
The idea of this hellbound entity maybe like being stuck on Earth or something like that, on the way to hell, or or something of that kind of nature. But the idea that like the many eyes is sort of indicative of a former spiritual past, or like a holy past, celestial past. But now that it's on Earth, it's kind of taking on this perverted form. It's
corrupted at this point. So I mean, it's
it
can definitely point in that direction if that's where you want to take it. And again, it's going to color the next question that you're going to need to answer.
I think the reason why the creature gave Lord Oda the glowing stone, it's an offering of some sort, because we had established kind of, or at least implied through the paint the scene, that the crypts were like some sort of like
there was some worship going on now for you.
For me, right?
Yeah.
And so like the creature's invading that space, and it's like, at least it's like a sign of, right, that there's some sort of like unstated laws that like follows. Like if the creature's going to invade the space, at least it's going to like give something in return. So it's not complete chaos. I think that's what I'd want to add to the kind of mythology of the Between right now.
Mm-hmm.
That at least the demons or fallen angels are not completely chaotic. They have like a certain
order to them.
Yeah, an order to them, or maybe they're somehow beings like of order in some way. Like they want to make the chaos of the world ordered.
Well, I mean, you know, there's always order and chaos because they need the two to be able to distinguish each other. So I mean, just imagine that, you know, you've got the fallen angels. When they were angelic, I mean, like, you know, they looked a certain way, but then now that they're fallen, it's like they're in reverse. So
and like, I mean, even in like old like, you know, old occultism, you know, the whole idea of calling demons, there's a whole, you know, order to things, and they follow a code of conduct.
Sure.
Even though there's these, you know, infinitely powerful beings, there's still a code of conduct that they for some reason abide by. But yeah, I like that. Do you have any thoughts,
Eirinar?
I was mostly listening to the pretty incredible theories you guys are coming up with. I mean, I was leaning demon as well, so that was pretty much taken care of. Yeah, no, I don't have too much to add. Yeah, I was trying to I was trying to figure out if I could incorporate the third clue into this, but maybe we want to save that for
Yeah, I'd like to
now.
save it if possible.
Yeah, I think that would be better.
So just the stone and the side character's body?
Actually, muffled echoes of enthusiastic prayer heard through the walls. Like, if we wanted to incorporate it, I think the muffled like echoes of enthusiastic prayer is from Lord Oda, and that's what we hear through the walls.
Is it from Lord Oda, or is it people who were praying to Lord Oda?
Praying to.
Yeah, is it for Lord Oda was the sort of...
But it, does that
example.
tie? But then how does that tie into the creature itself being a demon?
I think perhaps what they're praying for is different, right? Perhaps the prayer is to like come and cleanse the space. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I could see it. Like maybe the prayer is to like ward off, you know, opposing entities, not necessarily evil spirits, because I mean,
yeah, or like
Lord
subjugate
Oda. Sorry.
or like at least to
Lesser of the
bend
two
something
evils.
to-
yeah.
Sorry. Just yeah, I mean, definitely the stone that glows crimson is definitely a clue you want to incorporate. But
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to use either of the remaining two clues or both? And how does that tie in?
I want to use all of them, honestly, because we missed the last week, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
did
don't
you
wanna-
have a plus? I thought you guys had a plus on the last one.
We did.
So I mean,
Just before.
the horror. I mean, you know, it is up to you. I mean, like, you know, I like it all. So I mean, even if you use like, you know, all three clues or just two of them, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with whatever, but I just want to make sure that the theory makes sense.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, like, so we're saying that the gem is a beacon of some sort, or is it a protection thing?
Ooh. Well, I think maybe what makes it like an offering is that it does something, right?
Yeah.
Glows
then what
crimson
does
when
it
it's
do?
held in your palm.
And it did it in Oda's palm. So I mean, I feel
Maybe
like maybe it's some sort of like, because who gave it to Lord Oda?
It was the beggar.
It was a beggar in the crypts, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that like the beggar is probably a worshiper. I think you couldn't take him because you don't have taketh yet.
Yeah.
Or giveth, yeah.
Giveth, yeah. But
that beggar does remind me of a certain person who's watching behind the scenes, who is also like some sort of like unsheltered person. There's like some resonance with that individual.
But I'm thinking that they gave you that gem as sort of like, there may be a member of the cult, but they're like, you know, but like, so like that like enthusiastic prayer they were a part of, and maybe even that prayer was to enchant this gem to protect you from a demonic presence that was now on Earth.
It could be that. I like that.
I like that.
Theory.
Yeah.
I want to provide another. Maybe if it is demonic, right? And it's from the demon itself offering to Lord Oda, then maybe what it does is the ability is, it's like if it touches a being, like a dark being, a similarly dark being, it glows. Just like confirm that like we're in the same club.
So do you think that like if it's a demon, it's trying to like recruit you?
It's trying to recruit me, or it's like trying to identify and to know that I'm no threat or something like that.
Or like a possible ally?
A possible ally or enemy. It's like just confirming in this way. But it is an object of power insofar as it does identify, and so it's an offering.
Yeah.
At the same time. That's like another idea. Eirinar, do you have a theory or an addition?
So I was briefly considering something, and now I've completely forgotten what it is. I was I do like you guys' theories, but I think I was leaning towards it's sort of like, I don't know, the first thing I thought of was it was something you would use to summon a demon, because I don't know where the demon came from in my head. So like, did
it's like to
someone
call it?
That was my initial, the initial thought. Yeah, it was like a beacon.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Oh, I didn't know what you meant by beacon, Jack. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I was like,
yeah, I had
like a light that you hold. I thought it was like.
No, I thought that like someone used it, or it was there in the crypt, so it was like something that called the demon either intentionally or otherwise. I do like the side character's body being not real, especially because it was like some kid who saw it, and it was a kid. So yeah,
we can identify whose body he saw if we want to.
Right, but
you haven't necessarily met enough people yet, and
it's true.
The kid didn't identify who it was per se.
Right.
Well, we left it intentionally vague, I think.
Yes.
We could make it like, I mean, that like we could make it somewhat unidentifiable if we wanted to be an almond, right? Like we could make it just be difficult to identify in the sense of it's weirdly hard to tell who it is, just because it's not supposed to be a specific person, so it's supposed to be a generalized thing.
But then how is that a sign of it being a demon is the only thing that I'm wondering.
What if it's a priest? The body has hanging.
What if it was in the same position as what if it was seen in the same position as Mr. Burke's body that was found in the chapel? So basically upside down, hanging from the rafters, chest splayed open above the pulpit. So this character's body hanging off of the cathedral's roof was in the same position, and that's how you know that it is.
So it's like a calling card. It's
it's kind of a calling card for it. Yeah.
Okay.
So then we can incorporate it that way.
All right. Yeah. So I think
it's real or not. I mean, like, whether it was an omen or if it was an actual side character's body. But since there was no comment, because it's outside of the cathedral roof, I'm wondering whether it's just like something the kid saw and it was important enough to tell Elagos, and then be able to say it's like, I saw this, and there you go. So.
I think with that, then the importance is less on whether or not it was real or fake, and just the fact that it showed signs of demonic, aggression.
Yeah.
So I think whether or not it's alive or illusory, it doesn't matter right now. It might matter. It could matter later on, but I think that as long as we have the idea of that, like, it's found in this way that would signify that it's a demonic presence that touched it, would
for sure
that feels good. The only thing then is how do we then use the prayer?
Okay. Yeah.
I had the small theory of what if the prayers were, well, like we said, right, we have a stone thingy that's used to summon the demon. What if the prayers were to the demon to like summon it, or to please it once it arrived. I don't know what the right word is.
So maybe like cultists were trying
Yeah.
You did. I mean, there's no sense that it was actually like actual cathedral that religious.
Yeah, it may not have been Christian
prayer.
prayers. It could have been
Right,
demonic
exactly.
prayers.
It could be like, it could also be echoes of like, if the demon's in the church, it could be like echoes of the, echoes of the whatever summoned it, just kind of following it around or also echoing through the church.
I just had a theory too.
Okay.
How to use that. So demons are former angels. There's still like a weird sense of not loyalty, but sense of maybe like formality, lawfulness to what they do. And so maybe demons still pray to God. Or because the body was found in that kind of inverted way, they were praying
Perversion.
to some kind of higher demonic entity.
Right.
Some people might call it Satan, Lucifer, or like whatever other religion might have that kind of figure. Maybe it was praying when that body was. Because what was the context of finding the prayer? Did we find it at the time, or was it like hearsay?
Somebody heard it. I think Elagos heard it.
Oh. Yeah, then I'd probably go with Eirinar's then.
I mean, it still can be used. It's just
no. I'm saying my theory wouldn't make sense because like the idea was that the demon was praying, but if the body had been taken away, it does make sense.
I'm just gonna say what I wrote aloud. What if like, because this underneath was like a place of worship for Lord Oda, what if the cultists were won over by the demon or somehow influenced by that?
Oh, that would work because you did say they were potentially entities. I mean, when we were previously theorizing of similar, similar natures. So it could be like a willful collaboration, or it could be like a one-over thing. Either of those is
Jack. You have
like among the cultists, not necessarily with.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to let you finish. So going off that, stone that glows crimson when it's held in Oda's palm, or I guess it would be any palm. We haven't really put it in anyone else's hand, so we haven't really confirmed if it's just Lord Oda. But I do like the idea of your cultists being swayed by this other demonic entity. So my idea is that the gem that was given to you, the stone rather, was one of your cultists giving you this as sort of like a protection from demons sort of artifact. The idea being the muffled enthusiastic prayer heard through the walls was in honor of this demon that they are now worshiping instead of you. And the side character's body was one of your cultists who is one of your most faithful, who was murdered because they would not convert to another faith.
I like that too. So, I mean,
I would like it, but I feel like I want the risk of confronting the demon. So I would like to make still a beacon that can call it, right?
Okay. Well, then, do you want it to be like just a beacon, or are you okay with it like being a beacon but also a thing for protection, or what?
Oh my gosh, it depends how long I want my character to last.
I mean, the way masks, my goodness.
Jesus. trying to knock him off already.
I'll make it protection, at least in some way. I'm not sure. That's up to Mads.
Yeah. Are we cool with this? Do we feel good about it, or?
I mean.
Yep, I like it. I like it.
All right, so all three clues are used, which means you roll with a +1. Who's rolling?
I think it's Lord Oda's life on the line. So
yeah, but I mean, roll. Like he didn't he roll last time?
Did he?
I think so on Cremorne.
Did you? Well, Eirinar, you get to roll because you weren't here.
Eirinar? Oh, Eirinar, you did.
Yeah, okay.
So
if I
plus
could
one, like
find my
2d6 plus 1.
dice.
Or you could use the
Yeah.
roller that's in the chat.
No, I have dice. I just lost them in my blanket somewhere. That's what happened. Am I rolling with a +1?
Plus 1.
That's a 7, so just barely.
Okay. So you are right. It is definitely demon. We'll see how this is complicated for the next question, which is, give me a second.
Maybe the complication is now it's also a beacon. So it's just going to come after Lord Oda.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I mean, it probably wants to come after Lord Oda anyway, because, it stole his cultists, and now it's coming for the rest of whatever Lord Oda has, probably.
Well, and it's also like more powerful than, maybe I'm expecting, right?
Yeah. It probably isn't like super chummy with Lord Oda to begin with, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the entity is demonic or spiritual, what is needed to capture and banish the entity? This is a complexity 4. Resolve the threat by breaking the gargoyle asunder and banishing the entity that releases before it can escape. So that is your question, and once you answer it, then you can resolve the threat. Okay, so now you need to get more clues. Okay. And so just to remind Eirinar, there's the mask of penance for you, as well as the mask of revelry. So you can choose to do that now, or you can wait until we hit dawn phase. And then I believe that you had rolled the quickening off.
Yep, and I marked a mask for that, so I have 3 to narrate.
Yes. So again, now or later, that's fine, or whatever you want to do.
I think later maybe, because we haven't really gotten into the thick of things. So.
Okay. All right. That's cool. That's totally cool. All right. So, reminder. That's wonderful. I love it. Okay. Great. So again, before we go on to night phase, do you want to try to answer the Creature of Cremorne question?
With what you have. 4 in that, so we'd have the -2.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can still investigate, obviously. So can't resolve until you do.
I'm fine investigating, but if anyone has a theory, I'm totally open to trying to answer it.
I was thinking that the creature wants to change its nature in some way. It's like caught in an in-between state. And so perhaps, like Little Mermaid, it wants to become human, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or and the reason I say it is the discarded fish scales. Like it wants to discard what it is. And it's like there's horrors of the sea. It has seen how people perceive it, right? And wants to run away from that. The rubbery smell is it's attempting to like rub its flesh off, leaving the scales behind. And what it wants is to become human.
So then, what is the argument between 2 side characters?
Perhaps that's like between the creature and its lover. But what
was the theory that we came up with for why it was a creature? Do we remember? I don't.
I mean, basically, it's like, you were saying that the creature was real because it secreted the substance. It like either made the pearls or it had the pearls from its home in the sea. And then, of course, the large glowing eyes and the unusual song was like indicators. It was like, alien, like it was from the sea and an actual creature rather than being like some put upon like, hoax.
I think the discarded fish scales and the Madame Tussauds waxwork makes sense with that. I think we could explain away the rubbery smell as part of like that unusual substance smeared on the surface. Maybe like that's the scent of the substance.
Sure.
Maybe like that is like it's maybe like you said, like it's an attempt to like slaw off its own skin, maybe it's like, secreting that because it's on land or something. The only thing that just is difficult for me to figure out is the argument between two side characters, because I think.
And then Ben was saying it might be like the creature and its lover, and then I was immediately gonna say Shape of Water, and then you look like you blanked out. So
You said Shape of Water, I had to go. Go watch my DVD. No, I don't have it on DVD. No, but my question to you though was that because I don't know how you would rule it, but usually side characters and dangers are different. So for this instance, would you be okay with making a danger a side character, or the threat a side character?
Maybe two people are housing the creature.
Well, let's see. Hold on a second. What is it? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I said maybe two side characters are somehow either housing the creature or like trying to assist it, right? And they're disagreeing.
Yeah.
No,
I think I was going that direction.
I like
I was gonna say the two side characters are have we dealt with the two folks, the two owners, like the daughter and what's his face?
We haven't. I don't think
Thomas.
We have.
Only Abigail.
Maybe Thomas and Abigail were arguing about it. Maybe Thomas is hoping to cash in. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Smoke had saw Abigail.
Yeah. But yes, I was gonna say that one of them, because we already know the disagree on how to run this place. One of them wants to help the creature accomplish whatever, and also kind of use it as a little bit of a cash cow, and the other one, does not.
Well, I don't think it would want to help the creature, because the creature wants to become human, and if you make it human, you can't make money off of it.
Right.
So I think that Thomas probably does want to keep it and wants to put it on display, and then Abigail is arguing the ethics against that. It's like, this is not our place to do that. We need to let this thing go.
What if she was, because of the way she was talking, that she was like, that this creature would have been put under glass, like my father, She was trying to divert because maybe she's the creature's lover?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if she's in love with the creature?
Okay, yeah, I'm into it. She's in love with it, and that's why she's trying to get it set free, or or that's why she's trying to get it human.
Maybe she just they. I think that's true. Because she can't have. I mean, I guess she could have relations with it in some way, but I don't think it might be.
I think it's better for her that the creature is human. Yes, that's definitely.
You don't have to delve into it. It's
I kind of love that she loves a fish man.
I mean,
into that.
But
so
it's
she
kind of
like either way, she probably does not want her father to
exploit him
and whatever. Yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like it's also like a fairy, like one of those old fairy tales. It's like, the possibility that this creature, this frog or whatever, will change and, be with her once.
Maybe it's not maybe that's not like a romantic love, but maybe it's just to support the theory of him wanting to become human. I think maybe it's less romantic love and more of compassion for another creature. She sees this creature and she pities it because it's been trying to communicate its desire to be, among, land walking folk. And, the first opportunity that it had to try and attempt it, it's now being harassed by her. Was it for her father?
Yeah. I mean,
I was thinking that maybe she, what keeps it, why it even comes to the fair itself is somehow having to do with her. Maybe it's, I was thinking it could be somehow with some sort of love that's because she could be what makes the creature able to be displayed in a way that doesn't kill it, right? That keeps it functional. It would stay for her even as a creature that's exploited, but she doesn't want that. I don't know. Never mind.
No, I mean, I think
why would it come to the Cremorne Gardens in the first place? But that,
No, I think they
I
really have to
was-
figure out. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, what if like she was sort of not because it's her lover or whatever, but like she was sort of the, how do I put it, inspiration for it wanting to be human. I am definitely
Ooh.
butchering words here,
Ooh.
but
Maybe
what if
it's
she had a
more
transformation
like,
herself?
huh?
maybe
Maybe
the
she had
creature
some
is-
sort of transformation.
or maybe the creature is femme, and it's like
Oh.
it's seeing her as a sort of like picture of femininity, of
Yeah,
human femininity.
exactly.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's seeing her as an inspiration for the kind of human, at least physically, it wants to be, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
so,
why
you
it's
know, it
discarding
keeps
its
showing
fish
up to,
scales.
yeah, and it keeps showing up to like see her and admire her, not necessarily in the
wow.
most uncreepy way.
I love that. I love
It's
that.
really cool. I like that
Yeah,
theory.
I love
Sure.
that.
I mean, and
Really
it
cool.
uses all of the clues because the again, it's like, you know, the creature can unfortunately see that from the horrors of the sea wax work of like how it's being perceived, and it's like, no, it doesn't want
Aw,
that.
I feel so bad for it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, you know, if this is right, then you can resolve the threat by luring the creature to you and doing whatever you need to do. So
To make it a little darker, like it hasn't killed people yet.
it has
It's
not,
attacked people.
It's attacked people.
I think that it's trying to examine people.
Ooh,
Yeah,
like it's trying to understand their anatomy.
Yeah, understand like how it could become them.
It
or how
attacked Beulah. I mean, like, you know, it tried to grab at
Yeah,
Beulah.
yeah. So
like-
it's trying to understand her physiology.
Hmm. Yeah,
I like that a lot.
sure. Okay, so straight roll, no bonuses or negatives. So who's rolling for this
Stack.
one?
I guess I will.
Is it a straight roll? Isn't it a -1?
No.
No, you used all four. All four.
Oh, there are 4? Okay. I am just blind and I can't see.
That is a 7.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Creature. So, you've answered 2 questions. Fabulous. All right, wonderful. Now, let's review because it's like, you know, things have changed. We got Smoke back. We lost Elagos for today. What do you guys want to do for this night phase before we dive in?
I think-
Let's start with Mildred.
Oh, sorry, I
Ms.
didn't
Will.
mean to
No,
jump
it's
in
good.
like that.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say though that like because Mildred has been focused on the creature, I think she'd want to go and try to convince it to, you know, either go back or find some other way to find happiness instead of, you know, trying to kill people.
Okay. All right. So, and then Lord Oda.
Oda is going to summon a demon and attempt to find out whether he knows it from the past. And I don't know. Elagos is not here, so I feel bad picking on Elagos. Last week I said I would like offer Elagos as like a you know, an offering in kind, right? Just as a nice treat, but this time I don't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe if Eirinar is right there with me, I could.
Yeah, I was going to, because I do not think Smoke, now that Smoke knows a little bit of what's going on with the creature or what have you, like I don't think they want to go back to that place. They're not. It's not great memories, you know.
Okay.
And also, I slightly wish I had rolled, maybe like monstrously on the quickening now, because that would have been fun. What would the
Do you want to
demon
do
and
it?
all that? I did roll a fail. I just took a mask and took it up.
I mean,
but what does a fail give you? Like,
fail means
can
that you will have to deal with the, well, your.
Oh no, but it says reveal your curse to another hunter and ask for
Yes,
their
and
help
they will-
controlling you this night.
Yes, exactly, and that's all they can do for this.
Oh,
night
it's
phase.
all they can
Yeah,
do.
so
Correct.
you guys wouldn't be able to summon a demon
Right. Never mind. That's fine.
unless you somehow try
Uh,
to summon a demon to control Smoke. But
That will be.
Oh boy.
I guess.
mean,
Oh god. Yeah. But you can't trigger any night phase moves, and I think resolving a threat would almost certainly trigger night phase moves.
You don't know. I mean,
Hmm.
somebody's got to
I,
go.
I,
Somebody else has to be able to be there to help
yeah,
wrangle
yeah, yeah.
you.
Yeah, I would have asked Lord Oda, but the idea was like it would be more fun if the demon and the cursed being sort of, well, the demon and the other cursed being sort of walked into a bar together, or a crypt or whatever you have.
I mean, if anything, it's like you are going to be rolling at a disadvantage no matter what because you still
Oh
are
yeah,
drained.
I don't know what the okay. I'm still drained. That's it.
You're
Like
still
that's
drained.
no, but I
Or
rolled
double
another
drained.
thing.
Oh, I wonder if. Oh shoot, I don't even know whether he took care of this one. This is a weird loophole, isn't it?
It's up to you,
Because
Matt.
oh
The
shoot,
Yeah,
interpretation.
it's your game.
yeah. Oh man, can't do double drained. Oh boy. Not that we know anything about the creature just yet, but I'm just curious. It's like, what do you think is your curse? What is your greatest fear with the curse?
um, whew. uh, I think it is. I've been spending like I spent 3 weeks trying to figure out a curse that works, and I have failed. Uh, but I think it's definitely the whole. I'm pretty sure like there's the whole hurting people you love or otherwise would prefer not to hurt, especially innocents, not just people close to you, but also randoms. Uh, and just the general, like, I think Smoke is just a very stressed person on average. It's just the general stress of having to deal with this is just not doing them any favors. So I think it's at least a good chunk of it is selfish because they just don't want to deal with the guilt and this thing. Not so much the, no, no, like it's more of how the guilt and the curse itself affects them, affects things like them not being able to sleep well at night, that kind of jazz. Not quite purely on the for the sake of the moral side. But I have not, like, if you want the physicality of the curse, like, you will have to give me a few minutes.
I want to say that. Oh God. I mean, I want to say that you're gonna have a worse tendency to lash out. So if
Oh yeah,
it's.
probably.
So wait, what's happening now?
I think Matt's applying a
I,
condition.
I want to try to figure out a condition to go on
yeah.
top of drained because you can't really do
Yeah.
double drained. But I mean, like
What if it's
At,
unrestrained or something like that? Because it's like you can't hold back. You could lash out at people, like you're saying.
Yeah, or like agitated.
Yeah.
yeah, agitated sounds good. So put that down as another condition.
Where are my conditions? Why am I
Right
so
by your
lost?
stats. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Mildred,
So,
what are you wearing for this evening?
Good question. Are we starting the night phase?
yes, we are starting night phase.
Okay. What is she wearing? Good question. I think she's going to go to Cremorne Gardens and she'll be in I see pink. I see kind of like a soft pink. Collared up to the wrists. Thinking sort of like a light pink version of like the green dress that Winona Ryder wears in Dracula when she meets Dracula for the first time. It's like a little fascinator hat.
And what is Lord Oda wearing to go to the cathedral? Which I'm assuming that's what you're doing, right? You're going back to
Yeah.
the cathedral?
Going into the crypts below, to summon the demon, where I assume it was originally summoned by who I don't know, or where it appeared. But to go with the Dracula theme, it's just all bats. Lord Oda's outfit, there's no clothes. He's just covered in a kimono of living bats that are rippling and squeaking all in abundance, hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And they occasionally fly out and come back, one and twos, in the ceiling of the crypt, and it's just live them. Their eyes feeling like the stars above Mildred Bloom.
And Smoke, how are you dressed for this? To head over to the cathedral with Lord Oda?
I think Smoke is dressed in some sort of cape. It's just like this giant cloak cape situation with a sort of hood on top. Probably like this dark smoky gray, and you can't really tell what's underneath. So it's just like this, and it's doing a little bit of a swoosh slash a little bit of a trail as it's going behind. Yeah. Smoke is wearing Smoke is wearing a rubber poncho so they don't get. No, not really. They're wearing a cloak and they're sort of trailing behind Lord Oda because yeah, and then every so often they get a bat in their face and just swat it away like angrily.
Are you smoking a cigarette or cigar?
I think for this one a cigar
Yeah, I think this is
because
very appropriate for a cigar.
if a cigar, yeah, cigarette is a little for this one, not too casual for this affair.
Yeah, definitely not casual. Every class of people in London is represented in the audience at the Theatre Grand Guignol. They have come to watch the newest production, The Baker's Son, a story filled with romance, heartbreak, and bucketfuls of blood. Paint the scene, and this is for everyone. As the limelights pop to life and the crimson curtain is raised, what do we see as our eyes scan the stage that tells us this is the story of a humble baker's son?
We see a rather poorly painted oil painting portrait of the family, but it's just it's like two figures, a mother and father in aprons. The mother is like holding a loaf of bread, like swaddled like a baby. But then we see the young baker in front of them at the base of the painting.
I'm going to say there's like the tables and chairs and whatever that a lot of the furniture that's currently on stage has this appears to be covered in this sort of white slash beigey powder, which is like basically it's supposed to represent flour.
Yeah, I would say that um, above the stage, you can tell that it's not set in London, but in like some humble village, because you can see the whole cosmos like splayed above and like twinkling stars and this like in the background of this like little scene, and you can see like the Milky Way right there, twinkling.
Okay, we're going to deal with Lord Oda and Smoke first because they're heading to the cathedral and then into the crypts. When you get there, you see that the entrance to the crypt is actually now closed, and there's a fella there that's got like a shovel and a pickaxe and a couple of other tools, implements, like near him, and he's like dressed in a like tattered, greasy shirt, and he's got like filthy overalls and giant like clod hopping mildewed boots, and he's a bear of a man. And he looks at you approach first with a look of, huh? And it's like, who the hell are you? I'm Henry Doyle. What are you doing here? I mean, it's dark out, and it's like this is it. What are you doing here? I'm the Gravedigger. Digging graves. Are you? What?
Ah, just the man I wanted to see.
Really?
Was it Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Yeah. You see, Mr. Doyle, I
Wait. Watch where you step. The dead demand as much respect as the living, and by God, I'll make sure they get it.
at this point, reeking of the stench of death on me, just reeking from my body. It's a condition of mine. Just didn't scrub away last night. I lean in and breathe, and in a way that Mr. Doyle can feel close to him. And I know, I can see that he's a man who deals with death and knows the stench. I've seen his kind before, and I say, well, Lord Oda leans forward and says, just the man I wanted to see. You see, I need someone to dig my own grave. It's going to be a birthing chamber of sorts, of rebirth of kind. Well, life comes from death, as we all say. It's going to be going to fill it with a bath of sorts. And I think this location is perfect. What do you say? It's so grand, the dead around us, the soil earthy and warm. And you, Mr. Doyle, there to watch the whole time. You also have a nice spade on you, too. I look towards my crotch.
He's gonna look at you like, with a side eye, and then I'm asking for night move. What do you think is gonna go wrong?
So I think that he is a demon worshiper and that he's going to try to behead me on the spot. With that nice sharp shovel he's been dealing with. And he's only saying these to make us disarmed.
I mean, it's gonna be worse than that. I mean, he's gonna basically, take your body and then put you and Smoke, if you can get a hold of them, and sacrifice you both. So, yeah. Roll with presence. Oh wait, disadvantage because of all your conditions.
Sure, my stench of death. People just don't want to be near me. 2d6. Google, come on.
Well, 3d6 and take the 2
Oh.
lowest. Disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage, right. I'm sorry. Should I re-roll that or
Yes,
somehow
please.
do? Okay. 3d6. Okay. I have a 2 plus a 2.
Okay. We will deal with that in a second. Smoke, what are you doing before I move over to Mildred?
I am actually like this. So Lord Oda has like all this patience that Smoke does not even come close to possessing. So the minute the man just starts asking us who we are, Smoke's hand is like on top of their gun holster. Like somewhat subtly, also because I'm behind Lord Oda, so I'm not trying to like overtly threaten this man, but I'm trying to more prepare myself for like an immediate take something out and shoot.
Okay, so you're trying to keep yourself reined in and not get like the happy trigger finger, huh?
Yes and no. I'm not going to shoot immediately, but like if I see this man so much as like walk towards me in an with an uncomfortable amount of distance between us, I will like shoot him or claw him, something. I will go at him.
All right. I'm going to ask for. I'm going to ask for night move as well because it's like, you're trying to keep yourself, like, with the 2 conditions you have on you, you're trying to keep yourself held in. And if you
Right.
don't, disadvantage with composure, please. And then,
Composure. I don't think that's one of my best stats to begin with. It is not. Okay. Yeah. So I'm afraid that, well, he's going to attack. Well, he's going to attack Lord Oda, but he might also see me, so he might go for me instead. And yeah, I'm worried that he's going to basically hurt me before I can do anything. Yes, put me in the grave before I can so much as, take out my gun holster thing.
right.
Gun from the holster.
Or the way it's worse is that, you will snap regardless of whether he does anything or not, and you will shoot an innocent man.
Okay, sure.
Disadvantage with composure.
Okay, so I rolled a 6. I have 2 dice, so I rolled a 6 and a 5, so that's a 5 and another 6, so that's an 11.
Damn. Okay. I mean, all right. Take that. Sure. All right. Before I deal with that, I'm going to go to Mildred. Mildred, you are getting ready to head over to Cremorne. You are getting dressed and, like, pulling on whatever you need to pull on. And then you hear the ding, 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 ding at the door.
So wait at first, wondering if Elagos is going to go answer it.
I don't think Elagos came home from...
Oh my. Well, knowing that, she will have finished putting herself together, and she'll make her way downstairs.
I mean, after an interval, it's like, and you haven't answered, gotten to the door yet. It's like it goes.
Oh no,
ding,
she'd
ding,
answer the
ding,
door.
ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's at the door?
At the door is a rather tall young gentleman with long brown hair and honey brown skin. And he is beautiful. He is... If Lord Oda was there, he would definitely give Lord Oda a run for his money. A little bit of an Asian cast to his features, and he is there with his hat in hand, or actually on his head, and then he tips it to you and says, "Miss Bloom, I presume."
Yes, who might you be?
I am Kemuel Tagarish. I understand you are investigating Cremorne Gardens.
What do you know about Cremorne Gardens?
I know that there's a creature about.
Do come in. Salon is this way. And she will step aside and let him in. And hopefully he takes his hat off, and she'll show him where the coat rack is and take his jacket if he takes it off. But yeah, she'll guide him to the sitting room.
I thank you. Forgive me for being forward. I wanted to introduce myself, as I am familiar with Hargrave House, and
to what degree of familiarity do you have?
My colleague is interested in Hargrave House, as she considers it almost a direct rival. I find that very droll, but she seems to have other opinions on the matter. And I just wanted to see what she considers the competition.
Who is your lady?
I think she prefers to introduce herself. I am not at liberty to give her name at this time. But I wanted to introduce myself, as I said. I apologize, and I wanted to accompany you to Cremorne, in your investigation.
I do not need an escort, but I do tell your lady that if she has any more inquiries or desire to get to know Hargrave House a little more, then she ought to show herself here.
She will. She tends to find herself rather busy, and also she has a tendency towards the dramatic. I myself do as well, but I like more subtle things.
Out of character, what was his last name again?
Tagirish.
Tagaresh? Oh, Mr. Tagaresh, though this chat has been brief, it has been illuminating. However, I do need to be on my way, so I will show you to the door now. If you do have any inclination to follow me to Cremorne Gardens, I would advise against it. Things will be happening there, and, well, I'd rather not have any collateral damage.
I think you'll find I am made of sterner stuff, Ms. Bloom.
I'm
As
sure
he
you believe
bows and
that.
takes his hat. He nods, takes his stuff, puts his hat back on and his jacket after such a brief encounter, and will tip it as he leaves, and says, "Have a wonderful evening, Miss Bloom. We will meet again, I'm sure."
Yes, well, hopefully during the daylight hours, Mr. Tagaresh, and give Hargrave House his regards to your lady.
Absolutely. She will, of course, make herself known quite soon, I'm quite certain.
Looking forward to it.
And he sees himself out. And then, if you want, you can take a cab, like, over to the to Cremorne.
Yeah, she kind of hangs in the doorway first, though, letting him, like, watching him as he makes his way. I imagine, like, he turns back maybe at some point, and their eyes catch a bit, and just kind of like,
he has a small smirk on his face,
Yeah.
like as he goes, like, under one lamplight, and then tips his hat again, seeing that you're watching, and then disappears into the night of Belgrave Square.
and then once she knows that he's out of sight, she'll order a cab and take a carriage to the gardens.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to the Grand Guignol. Jack, describe Act 1, in which the baker's son, a young man named Daniel, falls in love with a woman, Dahlia, whom he cannot have.
So in Act 1 of The Baker's Son, we see in this nighttime scene with the stars twinkling in the background, we see this young baker named Daniel. And he has this mound of dough, and it's covered in flour, and it's sitting on this table. And it's roughly the size of him. And you could tell from the shapes of it that he's been kneading it and forming it into this feminine shape. And he looks it over, and there's a moment where he looks out and sees the stars, and then there's one star in particular that twinkles, probably the North Star. And he goes to the window, and it's there that he wishes that this creature, this figure that he's created from flour and yeast, this woman, this Dahlia made of dough, that she show him the same level of affection that he's shown her, and that once she's baked, that it will somehow awaken whatever kind of longing he's had for maybe her, but more importantly for him to be seen as a master artisan himself. And he's hoping that if he can create a Dahlia this giant loaf of a woman, that he can prove himself, and that he can this passion project of his will be the thing that that has him celebrated as a baker.
All right. So this is interesting. So Smoke got an 11. Oda got a 4. Yeah, I think what happens is, excuse me, I think that Smoke is not seen by Henry Doyle, and Henry Doyle will pretty much, like, out of nowhere swing the spade that he's holding, not in his pants, swing the spade that he's holding, and then, like, conk you on the head, and then take his pickaxe that's, like, right next to it, and then, like, shove it into your side, basically trying to take you out, in the name of his demon god or whatever. Unless you want to mark a mask.
Oh, I definitely want to mark a mask. So.
Wait, but if I rolled an 11, can I say he whacked him? He whacked Lord Oda, but as he was sort of busy with his pickaxe, trying to sort of go at Lord Oda, I shoot him.
You shoot.
Not Lord Oda, the guy.
Right. You shoot Doyle. Okay.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. So, I mean, like, what are you aiming for? Any particular place? Or what are you trying to do in terms of shooting him?
So I think the way I imagine it is like he's sort of trying to whack Lord Oda with a pickaxe, and like he's kind of leaning over. So the part of him that is sort of closest to me is actually just like the top of his head, not like his forehead, but like, the hair part of his head. And I'm just going to, without thinking, just shoot in that direction.
Okay. I mean, like, so it's kind of like winging him a little bit?
No, I'm trying to literally shoot the top of his head and kill him, if that's what it entails.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you got an 11, so I'm like, I'm gonna say you're successful. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I'm still gonna say, though, because of all the happy conditions that Lord Oda has, and being most beloved too, on top of it, it's like, I think you've got a pickaxe sticking out of your side.
Yeah. But hey, at least, the dude's taken care of, for whatever definition of that word you want.
Oh my gosh.
That's a condition, right?
Which?
Pickaxe sticking out of my side?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so I'm going to mark a mask anyway, so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you were definitely in the 3 condition club even before you started the session, so. Oh, goodness. All right. Okay, so. Yeah, Doyle's dead. What would you like to do now?
Smoke did not think that far ahead. Like the lack of impulse control is a problem solver and a problem creator. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends on what Lord Oda is doing, because the first thing Smoke's gonna do is look over at their fellow hunter who is just on the ground, pickaxe out of their side, and just be like, and wait for Lord Oda to do something. Like deep breaths were taken.
So I marked it. I marked a mask so that the condition wouldn't. I wouldn't have a pickaxe sticking out of my side.
Okay.
Because I couldn't take it anyway.
Right. Got it.
And so it is the darkened threshold. But we can narrate that later.
Yes, please. Yeah.
And what else? So may I frame a scene, or would you like to do an unseen?
Just want to know, like, what you're doing before we go to the next unseen.
Oh, I think that before we go into the crypts, instead of doing that, because I feel like this man was guarding it for a reason, I'm gonna drag his body with us and perform a summoning ritual with the stone with my cultists, and Eirinar in attendance, watching me the entire time, in which we do a kind of reverse baptism, in which I insert the stone into myself in the baptism, like into one of the graves that this Mr. Doyle was digging, in order to summon the creature from within me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ms. Bloom, you're at Cremorne. Where do you go to try to engage the creature?
I'm going to go to the place where it was apparently last seen, which was the docks, right? Where it attacked.
Yeah, that's the one specific pier that they were talking about in the illustrated news.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the one where it was like cited that the creature may be coming in. Sure.
So I will go there, standing at the edge of the dock, looking out of the pier, from the pier, seeing the darkness of the ocean. And she will reach into her handbag, and she will fetch out the pearl that that she was given by Greco, and she will swallow it. And there's a bit of a moment where she starts to choke on it a bit, but she's using that because it was clearly a very large pearl, and swallowing it is fairly dangerous for anybody. She's using that pain, that harm that she's causing herself to swallow it. She's forcing it down her throat as a means to cast a Rite of Salt and Smoke.
Okay. All right.
And when she does, she's going to use that to pull it up. She's going to use that to she wants to communicate with something or someone that she does not share language with.
Okay. So, you're offering to the dark entities that are always lingering in your peripheral vision. I mean, I know that the pearl is part of it, but what are you offering to your dark entities?
So my offering is self-harm, and so the choking of this thing is very painful.
Okay. Roll with sensitivity.
Ooh, okay.
To do this.
7 + 3, that's a 10.
Awesome. All right. So on a 10 plus, the magic works without further cost. Choose your effect. Do you want to communicate with someone or something that you do not share a language with? Okay, great.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so what you see is that you see a burbling in the water near you once you finish your ritual. And then you see the beginnings of a head that looks like it has scales and possibly some small fins, like to the side of it. And it comes up to its eyes out of the water. And we're gonna cut over to an unseen. So, Eirinar, describe Act 2, in which Daniel impotently fights back against the forces that prevent him from being with Dahlia.
So impotently, just out of this thing, means uselessly, right? Like, I'm not misreading the word. Like, he's unsuccessful?
Unsuccessful, correct.
Yeah, okay. I am going to say
Is Dahlia
that...
the bread thing?
Yes, she's the
She's
bread
a woman
thing.
made of bread.
It's really fun. So I'm going to say that like Daniel sort of bakes Dahlia and lets her sort of cool overnight, and in the morning he comes in and he has this sort of strange almost realization that I mean, obviously he knew Dahlia was a woman made of bread, but he has this sort of there's this weird almost cognitive dissonance because he comes in and he sees that she's covered in ants, like every inch of her is just covered in ants who are trying to eat the bread or carry the bread away or whatever. And he tries to sort of swat them away or try to shake them away or whatever, but they sort of cling on tightly, and then he just has this thing of like was he has this sudden moment of feeling very useless and sort of not very not like a great creator who could even finish, let alone protect his masterwork.
All right. So, Lord Oda, you are doing this summoning ritual. And are you in the crypt? I mean, like, or you're just like outside of the crypt since it was closed, and like now your cultists are like around you, and then creating this kind of like circle that you can perform this ritual. Yeah.
Yeah, so my cultists, I want to make an undeniable whose masterwork is an elaborate pastry. Yes. Um,
Sucker gets eaten all the time. My God. All right, go ahead.
um, Speaking of, um, so like the ringing of the bell at Hargrave House and the ringing of the baker's bell when the customers come in, like the bells of the church are chiming midnight, right? And this is when like this pit that Lord Oda descends in, he is smeared with the blood of Mr. Doyle, right? And he's completely naked. The bats fly out to ring the space. And the pit, the funerary grave that Mr. Doyle had dug is lined with the living, rippling bodies of his worshippers, all male, and they similarly are streaked in blood. And in this wriggling, bloody bath he descends into, they are functioning as the steps for him. He lays back and inserts into himself the stone, at which they begin to chant a prayer that is much like the prayers heard before, but in reverse, to not only summon. Well, actually, the prayers heard before, it's to summon the demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he purposely has his worshippers worshiping this all time, and just naked, he's just staring at Eirinar the entire time.
There's a as you're doing this, you hear a tearing scream through the air that sounds like it's coming from behind you, above you, and around you, and it just sounds like it's viscerally in your bones as you're being like,
Yeah.
dipped into the blood. And then
And
it's you feel the flapping of wings around you. You cannot see anything just yet.
yeah, and like at the same time, all of my bats are squeaking and flapping their wings like in resonance, and the baptism of blood in which I am experiencing, like it is flows onto my eyes, and I rub to see, and I am feeling within me a like
Are your eyes looking up to the sky?
yeah, I was looking at Eirinar, and now I'm looking at the stars above, much
Okay.
like
Because
stars that the baker's son was
out of
looking
the
at.
darkness, you see like two claws coming for your eyes. Night move with oh lord, oh, definitely disadvantage still, and vitality. I mean, it's going to affect you physically for sure. So you're on mute.
I'm afraid, saying what I'm afraid of, and then you'll respond, and then I can see if I can decline or not, and then I roll. Correct.
Yes, because you have to decide whether you want to continue with that.
Okay.
that move.
And so, and I'm looking at the stars above, my eyes reddened through the haze, and I feel watched from all around, up, down, around the grave, and I'm not sure it's just a creature that is watching me in this moment. And what I'm afraid of is that I'm afraid that the creature, what I'm trying to do, right, is to not only summon the creature, but seduce it and to mount it, let it mount me. And in this coupling, we will have a intimate moment, and I can find out more, to know it truly, and find out maybe more about it, like in the biblical sense of knowing another, which is to have intimate relations.
It's going to be much worse than that, because it's going to take your eyes.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
as
what I'm
offering for
afraid
its-
is that what I'm afraid of it's not going to happen is that it's not going to be into me, right? Like, that's what I'm afraid. It's not going to be enchanted or bewildered.
Oh no, it definitely will not. I mean, it's going to be worse. It's going to take your eyes. It's going to pretty much wrench you in two and then take you unto itself, but not in the sense that you want. It's going to be using violence to enact your godhood, your essence, for its
Mhm.
own purposes.
Yeah, its
To-
own baptism, right, of my
Yeah.
blood.
Pretty much, yeah.
Incredible.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So that is
So disadvantage, vitality.
yeah. Can I use something for this?
Do you have anything in your personal quarters that you want to use to
I'm
knock
wondering
out?
what's my personal quarters. Oh my gosh, what is there? I'm having struggle scrolling down.
Oh, I completely forgot earlier, Mads. I should not have had disadvantage on that earlier roll because I used my Colt. And
Oh shit. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. So it would have been a straight roll. So I would have rolled a 12, which is
Okay.
consistent.
I
Yeah,
I
but
think
I mean, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'll remember.
Okay.
I think the bells that are chiming are not the bells of the church. Well, actually, maybe it is, but them. But also the golden wind chimes that that have an etching spelling out my true name are held around the grave by my worshippers, and so that's the object I'm going to use.
Okay. So yeah, straight roll with composure.
Yeah.
I mean, vitality.
Vitality.
Oh,
Okay, I have a 5 and a 2.
so 7.
Do I have a
Okay.
negative? Wait, I'm going to check if I have negative or not. Okay. It's vitality is +1,
Okay.
so that's an 8. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Before I go to Mildred, Smoke, what are you doing? You're gonna shoot it, I guess.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to so when Lord Oda was looking at me, I was
And I just want to point out, it's like there's a lot of blood here, a lot of blood. Not
oh
only
god.
Doyle's, but I mean,
Hmm.
like Oda's bathing in this stuff, like intending
Yeah.
this to be a baptism of sorts. So I mean,
Yeah.
how are you reacting to this?
Oh, so Oda also had a moment of sort of summoning the demon in some sense from within him. So Smoke is watching internally as Oda sort of stares at them. Internally they're going very they're a little bit curious and also trying to restrain themselves from partly from throwing themselves at this whole situation, but externally they're just scowling at Oda as Oda's staring, and then their eyes are going to follow Oda's as they go up and see that demon creature flying at Oda. But I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to actually just stand there and wait for once.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to do a risky, because again, you are
Okay.
God, night move.
Night move.
Sorry, God.
Yeah.
So again, it's because you're trying to keep it together. You have, you're drained, you're agitated, and there's
Hmm.
a lot of people watching with blood around you. The scent of
Okay.
it, the sight of it, it's all in your senses right now. So,
Okay. With what? And do I have advantage, disadvantage?
definitely disadvantage. And, poo, give me a second. I think I'm gonna say it's vitality, because you're
Okay.
literally physically trying to hold yourself back from acting acting.
Okay, 6 and a 4, and then another 6. God. 10 plus 1.
Okay. 11. All right, great. Mildred.
My dice like me today.
Yeah, they do. I mean, my goodness. Holy crap. Okay, so Ms. Bloom, you are seeing this creature rise from the pier, and it is as you expect. But there's bald spots now that you can see on its body. Like underneath the spots where, like, in your vision you saw like the rubbing off of the scales. I mean, it's looked like tender pink skin of sorts, like kind of like jelly-like. And it's reaching out for you with like 3 fingers that have webbing in between, and it's almost trying to touch you, but you can see these fingers have claws on them, like they're sharp. What do you do?
Yeah, she's standing there. She's is kind of massaging her throat, trying to relieve herself of some of the pain that she felt when she was swallowing the pearl. But she looks down from the pier, looks at the creature in the water. Hello, I am Miss Mildred Bloom. It is quite an honor to make your acquaintance, Miss.
She answers with a burble. I mean, you don't really see the mouth per se move, because it's eyes, big eyes, and then no nose, and maybe like a little bit of a slit for a mouth. But actually what is flapping and making some vibration are around her, which would be the neck and the chest area, like gills, like kind of flapping. And you hear it in a weird burble, a weird like fanning type of sound. And it's, you couldn't pronounce my name. What do you want? I want to be you, or Abigail, or female.
Darling, I can assure you that you do not want my life or my body. It is complex, such as yours is. Now, I know that you've been here visiting and you've had your eye on certain people. And I understand wanting something that is outside of yourself, a change in your own life. And I'm not going to argue whether or not that's valid to pursue that change. But I do ask you what you're giving up to do so, and what you're putting yourself at risk to follow it.
I am alone. No home. Down there. This is close enough. Abigail is the closest to me.
You understand, though, that just because you look like them, they'll never accept you the same way. I stand as a testament to that myself. I know when I enter a room, I present myself in a certain way, but if I ever showed them who I really was, if I ever showed them what this body was, then... And there's a moment where she pauses and starts to reconsider what she says. And without revealing too much about herself, she looks back up. You should be able to pursue whatever you like in life, so long as it does not hurt others. You have, however, hurt others. And that just won't stand.
What will you do then? Maybe I want to stay.
Well, maybe you do. sorry, I'm just trying to look at what I can do with my rites of salt and smoke.
Sure.
Yes, you may be able to do that. You may want to stay. And Abigail, a lovely young woman that she is, I'm sure she's doing her best to show you some kind of charity. This world on land is poisonous. You come up here, you're no longer yourself, and you're no longer the thing that makes you special.
But I will be alone.
I can promise you that you won't be alone. So long as you keep from entering the gardens and harming any of those who may come close, the pier or to the beach, I can assure you that myself and Abigail will do our best to keep you company however we can. And hopefully, maybe through time and research, I may be able to find more about you and your culture, and perhaps even come to understand what else may be available to you.
So you want me to go back down there? And they gesture to the river, the sea.
I simply want you to not hurt anyone else. And I don't want you to alienate yourself and compromise who you are, chasing after something that may not be worth it.
I was going to say risky move again. Night move, please.
Yeah. I'm afraid that she's gonna jump out and attack me and flay me so she can have my skin.
Yeah. I'm basically going to say that's, yeah. So you would be rolling with... Since it's the supernatural, it's like definitely use sensitivity.
It's a 13.
Okay. All right. And let's close out. Ben, describe Act 3, in which Daniel engages in a desperate action to get what he wants. The final moment, just before the curtain falls, should be very bloody.
All right. We come after Daniel clears the ants, makes another day. He realizes that what's before him is more beautiful than what he put in the oven itself. And he realizes that it's more and more like a woman than he thought. He puts it in again for another baking, and it comes out. And now it looks perfectly like a woman. He puts it in for a third time. And in this third time, there is a gong that rings to the audience. And as it comes out, the doughy creature, not so soft anymore, it's a beautiful woman. And she grasps Daniel's hand and says, "Are you my maker? What is my name? Name me." And she leans close. And Daniel whispers, Dahlia. Dahlia. And she says, thank you. That is all that I needed anyway. Subsequently, the doughy woman, she is larger than before. and she walks across the surface of the countertop and comes to the rack of knives, slits one out, and it starts to drag behind her. She says, "Let us do a dance, my beautiful baker's boy. You see, I am a beautiful young lady, and I need something to function in the society outside. You said you wanted to love me, right? To become close, to kiss me. I can do something that would make you closer to me than anyone would think possible." And she says, "Just sit there. Let me skin you alive, and I will wear you till my dying day, a human for all to see. What do you say, boy?" And the baker's boy, he of course, he's freaked out for and starts to escape, and he finds the door locked behind him. His parents have locked him in to work again today. He looks at the creature, looks at the audience, he looks at the stars above. He lays on the table and lets Dahlia begin her work to become human like him, to wear him always. And the blood pools from the table, and then like a waterfall across the stage and into the audience, and the stars turn red.
All right. So, Oda, Smoke, the creature is kind of staying its hand at the moment. So it's looking at you. It's now visible. It's coming down to a light on the ground from where it was. And it is monstrous. It's like it took several of the statues around the cathedral and then made it into some kind of hybrid monstrosity where the eyes of the statues are not the only eyes that are peering at you, both of you and the cultists around, but then other openings have appeared on the bodies of this hybrid humanoid statue hound thing. And then you can see them blink of different sizes and shapes at you, and then the wings flap. And then you can hear a growl in your bones. You understand what it says. And it says, "Offer to me." "What do you give me, godling?"
And Lord Oda, displayed before the creature, beckoning, his knees are in the air, his back is to the ground, and he says, I offer myself. In exchange, all I want is your name. Come close. I can smell you. You can smell me. Aren't we a couple?
I think at this point, what ends up happening is that the creature will go and crouch above you, and then the great wings like flap open and then close into some kind of cocoon around you both. Smoke, you can't see what's going on. I mean, all you can see is like kind of like undulating motions underneath the wings as Lord Oda is enveloped by this thing. And then Well, I mean, yeah, according to chat, it's like they can hear it though. But anyway. So the cultists around and still in a circle, they're enthralled by this, and they're still chanting their chant. So maybe you don't hear much of anything. You just see the wings, you know, undulating and kind of like fluttering as if in a breeze.
May I add?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Midsummer? There's a scene where the girl's crying and at the same time like the village is it's crying out loud too with her. And I think at this moment, like all the cultists like break out moaning and screaming in like enthusiasm and like ecstasy
Smoke, I
and
think
pain. Yeah.
Smoke, I think at this point it's like, you know, you are brought to your knees because of the emotions that are coming out with the screams, and you're trying to keep it together. You are trying to hold yourself back from reacting in any way possible, I would imagine.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that as well. Like, I think Smoke is struggling to not like, I think they're just a little scared that if they do sort of give in to like
Mm-hmm.
that emotion, then they
It's
will
going.
also it's going to sort of escalate from there.
Yeah, I think the 11 that you had is just pretty much your success in making sure that you don't do anything that will break out your curse. So I'm gonna say that is like how you find yourself in this moment. Um, I'm gonna go over to Ms. Bloom for a sec, and then we will go and epilogue through. So, Ms. Bloom, the creature looks at you.
Well, I think at this moment when there's a moment where Mildred looks down and their eyes meet, and hearing what she's saying about herself and about wanting to not be alone, she begins to undress herself very efficiently, and she pulls off her dress and takes off her undergarments. She folds them very neatly on the side, and not only the creature, but we as an audience would see that her entire body is decorated in nothing but scars of these sigils and burn marks and just all these different signs of abuse, scars on top of scars. It's but they're all deliberate. And she takes down her hair and sets her little fascinator and her hat pin on her dress as well. She dives in and she swims to the creature, and she starts to wade in the water with her. I promise you won't be alone, as much as I can help it.
You will come often to see me?
As much as I can. Changing who you are, though, is not going to bring you the companionship that you think it will. It doesn't work for those of us who walk on land who don't bear the scars that we do, or the peculiarities of physiology. Loneliness is loneliness, and you have to come to understand yourself and accept yourself in either form, whatever form you take. Otherwise, you're just masquerading as one of them. You'll still be lonely, though.
They nod. And as you're in the water, they take a really good look at your scars and the burns. And it's almost like they will reach out and not claw, but just gently touch those areas of your body and then touch themselves where they have similar places where they bared their skin, their under underdermis from under the scales that they no longer have. And you can't read their face, but it's almost like you have an understanding in those eyes that have done this, that have touched your body as well as theirs, that they understand.
Yeah, Mildred does the same, sort of reaching up and gently stroking her fingertips along the pieces of flesh that are exposed between the kind of shimmering scales. But then she goes over the scales and just starts to marvel at them and kind of iridescence that they have, even in this super dark ocean area or lake area, river. I don't know. But yeah, I think that she spends just the rest of the night phase swimming with the creature and using this opportunity that she has to be able to actually communicate with her, to just kind of talk about each other and find out more about each other.
Could close out that. Just as a final epilogue scene, I ask Lord Oda, Smoke, how do you resolve this with the demon?
Were we resolving the threat? I don't think we were. No.
Oda just wanted to fuck a demon. That's all.
That sounds
And that's
like Oda.
very
Yeah.
that is very valid. I mean, we can take a look at the opportunity. Let's see.
Ben asked a good question though.
Go ahead. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Huh. Yeah.
I know. I want to mark my what's called scar my reflection.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Having sex with a demon.
Well, I mean, like yeah. For sure. I think I needed to give you like at least a couple of scars, not just one.
How many scars should I add?
I'm gonna say like at least 2. I mean,
Okay.
dang man.
Is there a number that he can max up to, or?
Oh,
Yes.
I mean, like there's a bunch of boxes on their
Okay.
playbook, for sure.
So I think we just get a glimpse into the garden, right? The Zen garden in Buckingham Palace, right? We see that the waters that lead to the little bonsai that tree, that the waters all turn red, almost biblically, and it flows with blood. Yeah, that's how my reflection changes, and the leaves of the tree turn red as if it's autumn.
I'm gonna add a detail to this, and I will let you decide whether you want to keep this or not.
Yeah.
But there's a flock of whippoorwills that will now come round more often, and then have their piping song around your garden. They won't settle down in it, but they will kind of undulate above it.
What's a whippoorwill?
It is a bird known to portend doom.
Oh, okay, beautiful. I love it. And well, we see Lord Oda, like just the screen pans like into the darkness. Almost, it's like there's a moment in Call Me by Your Name where everything goes infrared and it's just like heat mapping, right? And that's like the visual. It just turns into a heat visual. And you see where the demon is. It's all heat and it's red. It's burning, right, with energy, and or maybe it's not. It's like a stone thing. But well, you see, I'll say, the demon itself is cold. It is a being of stone, right? And Lord Oda, though, is just glowing like the sun itself. And it heats map across, and we notice there's a glimpse where a keen viewer would notice there's no belly button on Lord Oda inside of this carapace this undulating moment, and his face is to the many eyes of the being all around him, and he whispers, "What is your name?" "I have named many things in my time. I have named all the bats around. I have named the creatures below, but I do not know yours. Tell me."
Around you and inside you, you hear the name Legion.
And I say, "Then the deal is done. You can have me, all you will." And I think that's going to be where it like the camera goes black, right?
Yeah. Smoke. Where do you see yourself during this?
I think as as this happens, and as there these two are having a fun conversation, but as the cultists are chanting, you see, I think, Smoke sort of double over, and you see them sort of like pulse, almost like pulse, as if they're going to transform into something else, like twice, maybe thrice, and then you see them also, I think, as these cultists are chanting, maybe you don't even hear it very strongly, but as they sort of restrain themselves, you hear this, or don't hear, but you see their mouth sort of form a scream, which is overshadowed by the cultists being like they're keeping it inside, but they're suffering for it.
Yeah. And dawn breaks. Oh my gosh. All right. So let's look at the hunters. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's look at the hunters first, and then I'll dole out rewards. Holy crap. Woo. What a session. Hold on. Gotta get to everybody's stuff here. Where's the dawn questions? Okay. Let's start from the beginning. All right. Everybody gets, you answered a question. You answered 2 questions, but you only get it once. Did you resolve a threat? Oh boy. Yeah, well, I mean, definitely in Mildred's case, yes. And not quite sure about the thing with the demon yet. All right. So, American, did you experience an echo in the night?
I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I caught the twice thrice thing, so I mean, I was like, I don't know if you.
Oh, that was also the I was trying to mimic Lord Oda's pretty bat cloak.
Okay, cool. Did you encourage a fellow hunter to let loose for a change?
Not really. I don't think Lord Oda needed much encouraging.
No, he didn't. He did not.
Yeah.
So, did you use violence to solve a problem? Yeah, you kind of shot a guy.
Yeah.
So 2, 3, 4. You got 4 experience
4,
today.
yeah.
All right, let's go on to the undeniable. Answer a question. Yes, you did. Resolve a threat. Well, I mean, Ms. Bloom did. Did you experience an echo in the night? I think I caught, once or twice.
Yeah, I was seeing the stars with the
Yes. Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the first act 1, was it?
Yeah.
Or when you get the first visual,
Yeah.
mimicking the bats.
Yeah.
There was also a few of them, like the creature wanting to take on the skin of a woman, right? The Creature of Cremorne Gardens,
Mm-hmm.
and then Dahlia wants to take on the skin of the
Yes.
bigger son.
Okay, I agree. All right, so take that point. Did you express a clear preference for the beautiful over the mundane?
Yeah, I instead of wearing clothes, I wear bats. Yeah,
Okay, I'll take it.
that's what I was thinking, but I was thinking it's like beautiful, and they're like the stars, their eyes, and that was part of my
It's
description.
it's a
Yeah.
visual. I'll say that. Holy crap.
Bat cloaks are high fashion.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if Lord Oda took that one, I'd be like, yeah, for sure. Did you create an over the top erotic experience for someone else's pleasure?
Yeah, it was for the demon.
Oh my god.
And Eirinar was watching the whole time.
Oh
Yeah,
goodness.
did the demon have a good time? Roll to see.
Roll
I
to
mean,
say. I won't make you do
who
that.
wouldn't with Lord? I mean, come on.
Damn.
That's the only
Okay.
thing he's good for. Right?
Okay. You get all 5 tonight. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you definitely get an advancement for sure. And then, Ms. Bloom definitely answered a question. Definitely resolved a threat. Did you experience an echo in the night?
I think I did. I tried to mimic the uh thing. What did I do? I totally forgot what I did. I thought I did. Maybe I didn't.
I'm pretty sure you did something. Don't remember
Yeah,
whether it was
I
the skin thing. I think it was the like with the
no, I don't think it was that.
scales. Okay, I mean,
Yeah, it's fine if I don't. I don't remember what I did. I thought I did something, but I don't remember it, so it's fine.
oh no, the face-to-face encounter with a dark entity.
Yeah, the fish person, Cremorne Garden creature. They're a
Okay,
dark entity, right?
I mean, I'm not gonna horn semantics about it because of like the whole ornate sexual experience thing. So go ahead and take that point.
All right.
And then, did you perform a ritual? Oh, hell yeah. So,
Yes.
at least multiple times. So, for sure, you get those 4 experience points today and then get some advancement. Now, for those of you who have run the between, like for characters that are not appearing in this, would Eligos still get the points for the answer a question and resolve a threat? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to definitely mark those for them.
And he also gets rewards.
Yes. So, all right. Oh, God. Greco can be consulted via dreams on an ongoing basis, and you can only do that if you have the cosmic passage marked. All right. And then the rest of it for Cremorne is a memento from the investigation. So 4 of those.
I'll take Greco.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so the other 4 are mementos. So, yeah. Smoke, you would ask another hunter what the memento is, and then add it to your personal quarters, and then same with Lord Oda. You would ask one of the other hunters to name the memento for you. And then add it.
I think I'm gonna ask Lord Oda.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a creature that is known to Hargrave House called Selkies, where they wear a
Sealskin.
the cloak. It's a skin, right?
Yeah.
It's a belt, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, of the seal,
Yeah.
echoing the unseen. And they transform from animal to man, right? And what you have is the cloak of a Selkie. That is.
I'll take that. Okay.
An actual one, and you find it in like the Hall of Horrors or whatever. Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
Smoke, who would you like to tell you what your memento is from Cremorne?
I just did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Lord Oda. Sorry.
Mildred, can you tell me what my memento is?
Yeah, I figure Mildred, she buttoned herself up. She said goodbye to the creature, and I think on her way back, There was something that I think that, so she got it from Tussauds, and it is a Fiji mermaid. And if you don't know what a Fiji mermaid is, it is a essentially like a mummified monkey sewn onto a sturgeon.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to hang it up right on our door.
Well, she knows you love animals, so
It's true.
this one's made of 2 animals.
It's truly amazing.
I think when you all get back home, and then you're cleaning up, washing up, or whatever, I think, Lord Oda, when you're in your quarters, and you happen to look into one of your many mirrors, you happen to catch a glimpse of a tall, very tall woman, taller than you, in an immaculate suit, who seems to be looking at you in your reflection from behind you.
Okay. Is that it, or would you like me to react?
I mean, do you keep looking, or do you turn around?
Oh, I think, is it dawn?
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Well, my thought was that Lord Oda wouldn't have come home, that he's taken by the creature. And I'm not sure, but if he does, like, he would be like just physically destroyed, right? Like he's weary. He has the stench of death on him. He has been taken, and his eyes are still red from the night before. And he's looking at this mirror, and he sees the woman in the business suit, and he says, "Woman, I do not know who you are, but I am not in the mood for proselytization at this moment. If you have any, I have been a little too intimate with biblical moments for the day. See yourself out." And he collapses onto his bed. Which is basically just like a pit of feathers, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't see the woman leave.
I wonder.
That is a
In this
mastermind clue.
Oh, that is? Oh, wow. Never mind.
I will type that in. And I will say, Mildred, that when you come out of the water and you make your way, well, get dressed and all that fun stuff, and you make your way home, watching you from under the street lamp, or one of the dimming street lamps as the light goes out of the night, is Mr. Targirish. There's a knowing smile underneath his hat as he watches you leave and head back to Hargrave House.
Is he near Hargrave House, or is he just on the way?
Oh, he's on the way.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Don't make it a habit of following me, please. The first time was charming. It runs the risk of becoming annoying, however.
He doesn't say anything. He just smiles and tips his hat.
She smiles politely and continues on her way.
right, so as I type in this mastermind clue, it's like, what an incredible session! Holy crap! Oh my god.
Well, do folks want to do masks? We've only got like a half
Oh,
hour
that's true.
left, and
That's
like
true. Yes.
you guys
We
have like
have.
6
I
masks.
have 4 masks, and I think Oda has 4. That's 8.
Again, you can combine
3
if you
masks. I have
can.
3 masks.
Yeah, you can combine if you can.
Do you want to do? Do you want to like do one after another, like together? Like what is it called? Dovetailing?
However you want to do it.
I don't know. You go.
I am
Give me
confused
the math.
about what. I am confused about what Ben wants me to do. I don't understand how you would dovetail.
Oh, it's like what I was meant was like you would say a mask and then I would say a prompt and then we could do that.
Oh, like that. Sure, yeah,
Just
we
like
can
back
do
and
that.
forth.
We can,
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have
we
any
can do that. You
Mildred?
would have to start because I have 3.
No, I
Mildred,
did mine last time. I only had the one. I've been rolling really well, so
Yeah.
I want to mark more masks. Trust me. But yeah.
At this point, I want to use physical dice. I don't trust Google anymore.
Oh yeah, physical dice worked really well for me today, but they worked really badly last night when I rolled a 6 on my quickening. So, you know. You'll have to start if you want us to alternate.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I have 3, you have 4, so I have to sandwich.
I'm just scrolling up. Okay, I'm gonna start with my mask of the future. It's describe a scene in which people treat you as ordinary. I'm just trying to find it. Oh, okay. Darkened threshold. Narrate a scene during which people treat you like you're nothing special. Can this be kind of in the past instead, or does it have to be the future?
I think it's the future. It's like a
Oh, okay.
What would
Yeah.
happen? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that in the scene, like Lord Oda awakens in an empty grave that's cold. He's covered in blood. His body is ruined. And there is Inspector Pettigrew. What's his name?
Detective Inspector Pettigrew.
Detective Inspector Pettigrew standing over the grave. And he takes me into he puts me under arrest.
Custody, yep.
At custody, he drags me to Scotland Yard as a suspect in the murder of Ms. Albertina. And he charges me for a crime. And what we see with the Mastermind Clue is a dream that Lord Oda has while in prison. He awakens there around the cold and all the prisoners staring and laughing at him, naked, bloody, beaten, and now put on the books. He does not look beautiful. He looks sorry. And for once, he has no response. Eirinar.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if you were waiting for okay, so the Mask of Revelry, because I didn't do it last session. Narrate the last truly fun day you had. You know what? Yeah, it was probably fun while it lasted. I think the last truly fun day that Smoke had was one of the nights that they were sort of they were in Hargrave House, but they were probably not with any other people for the night, and they got to and they weren't quite able to hold themselves back as they did today. So they were more of a almost like a half human, half monstrous creature, and they went around in the night and they had a few, I would like to say, encounters with people of the nature of, well, injuring people, but also, more sexual encounters. And it was more of like just for a bit having the freedom to do whatever, almost like a hide to the Jekyll kind of thing. And yeah, and there was that glee they had of like being able to hurt a person, because in that moment at least they did not feel the guilt that came later. But so it's less of a fun day and more of a fun night, if you would allow that. But yeah, they had this sort of, for some amount of time they were not thinking about what will happen or any restraints or any threats or any of that. They were just free to go out and do whatever unrestrained their heart desired.
You're muted, Ben.
So I have narrate the last truly fun day you had. And yeah, but I want to do it a little later. So I'm going to narrate a scene in which I express private regret for a harm that I have caused, which is different from the Mask of Penance that I did last week. This is my moss-covered gate. And it is right after his scene where he he tossed the cat, the bloody cat, to his worshippers in the kitchen, because once you both left, the worshippers stopped, and he told them to stop, like gasping, and like he was holding something in. He lowers to the floor and tenderly picks up the cat, and we see that he takes it, the sad thing, into his arms and strolls to the garden. And there is a spade, almost like the spade from Mr. Doyle, there leaning against a tree. He lets the cat down. He digs a hole next to the dahlia plants and the daisies. He puts the cat in, and he weeps. And his tears do nothing. It is just dead. And he says, "I am so sorry. People are sinners. But you, my dear, you are beautiful. You're a tiger. And now you must walk the halls of the dead like my husband. I hope I can retrieve you back one day. I'm sorry." He covers the little hole, the shovel. He puts a little mound on top. It is a small rock, and on it, carved in chalk, is starlight. And he walks back in.
I am going to narrate flashback to your childhood that shows the high level of privilege you were born into. So I think you see a young Smoke and, well, a young Calum to be more precise, and they're in this house which is larger than Hargrave House. It's like a manor, almost a mini castle, and there's these open grounds that they're playing in with some other children, also all of them very well dressed, the grass perfectly manicured. No, like if there are people watching over, like nannies or some equivalent, who are like making sure these children don't actually ruin their clothes and all that kind of. And and you see Smoke like sort of sitting in a corner and digging in the mud, like out of reach of their nanny or whatever. And they're sitting in a corner, they're digging in the mud. There is like a little bit of, they're a little more filthy than the other kids. And yeah, and then sort of, but they have, you know, the sort of, at that point at least, this, they look well fed, they have that color in their cheeks, they have this they have this, they look like they come from, you know, wealth. Maybe they even have, like, you know, slightly painted face, if that is just to, you know, look prettier or whatever. And then, you know, it's a pretty stark contrast to what they look like right now. So yeah.
We see. So the prompt is narrate a scene. Sorry, narrate a scene during which. I'm so sorry. Narrate the last time you had fun. True time you had fun. And we see at first we see Greco in his little little room, the poor boy, and he is looking over a crystal ball, and he's laid out before him a set of what is it called, the tarot cards, and he's leaning in and peering over the deck, and we see on the cards there is one creation on the deck, and in the image of what he sees reflected in his eyes, we see the world as nothing. It's just a pooling, like the Milky Way, these just scattered shapes pooling together, like a primordial earth. And then we see the first light. He draws out the sun, puts it on the table. And then he puts out the world, and in the image, it turns into a small shape, like the earth. And in that moment, he puts out marriage, and we see two figures, two men formed from clay, just like Dahlia was formed from the dough on the table. One to love another forever. And then he puts out the fool, and we see Lord Oda is there, naked in a garden, so beautiful. And there he is naming the creatures that all come before him. There are the foxes, the bats. He looks at the rats, and we get a glimpse. There's a shutter where we see rats just cluttering around his jail cell. Back to the scene. We see the bears, and we see creatures of wing and eye, of the fish swimming in the ponds of this oasis, filled with light. And it is just serenity. And he dances with his lover around the garden. And then he puts down one more card, another card, and it is the hermit. It's the wise man who comes out. It is a being old and stumbling, like a certain beggar we saw in the first episode. And he says that you have done wrong, You have soiled this place. Who have you spoken to? Tell me its name. And he says, it was the snake, my dear, my sir. He told me to enjoy the fruits of the day and truly enjoy what we're here to be. And in that moment, I realized the person I wanted to be with forever. It is us. And we knew each other in this moment. And then Greco puts down another card, and it is death. And that is when the scene ends, and we see the lover who's embraced in Lord Oda's arms collapse, like crumbling, like almost like a statue. And there's a fissure, another fissure, and you see death come over it. And it withers like a husk and calcifying turns into the earth on which we stand. And Lord Oda cries. And in this moment, he feels the stench of death clinging to his senses. And he says, then I must go. I leave this place, but I will retrieve who was promised to me. And I do not care for your creation or your peoples. I am not yours to command. I will make my own way. And Lord Oda leaves the paradise, the garden, and with him the animals follow, for it is he who named them.
Yeah, I cannot top that. There's no way. But uh, I'm gonna do the Mask of Penance. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, narrate time when you begged for when you begged for forgiveness and were denied. And I'm gonna say, Smoke wakes up in this not a brothel, but this sort of makeshift house. It's not very. It's barely a house. It's more like, honestly, like a shed in the street somewhere. And they wake up, and next to them they see what looks like a bloody pile. And as they look at it, they realize it is some kind of uh, some kind of young child, like 5, maybe 6 years old, who is barely even recognizable. Like, it probably took a few minutes to realize it was even human, and so on. And so they stare for a bit, horrified at what they've done, and like the tears start streaming down their face, and they look at it, and as they look at it, they realize it's someone they know, uh, and they but it's someone they know, and this child really didn't have any family or anything like that. Perhaps a few close friends, and Smoke was not a close friend, but was an acquaintance of some sort. And they realize what they've done in the night in their own sort of, uh, in not having control. Sort of, they've basically killed the child and injured it truly badly. And they sit there in this little shed, and they wish and hope and cry that someone is going to come and tell them that it's going to be okay, and that maybe it wasn't their fault. And they beg the body of the child, and they sit there for a long, long time, and almost until the sun is high up in the sky. And it's only when the sunlight finally hits the child's face through one of the holes in the roof that they realize that there's really nothing to be done. And they sort of they take it with them to give the child a proper burial, but there is no forgiveness for them to be had.
Anything else from anyone?
That's it.
I think Lord Oda has one left, maybe? He said 4?
I miscounted.
Okay. Oh, and just so you know,
Oh,
Ben,
that's good.
I mean, for any of the overage of XP that you got from beyond, you know, what you filled, you would put that in there,
Oh,
you know? So, I mean, I don't remember where you were at when
it was
we started
5.
the
So I just go back to 3. So.
Yeah. So, just want to make sure you don't like cheat yourself out of XP. It's like, oh no, goodness. Um, okay. Um, yeah. I mean, wow, wow, wow. Stars and wishes. And yeah, I'm just gonna start. I mean, stars for everybody's characters again, but I mean, like, even more so because I mean, I just feel like we got to know them so much more this time. And I mean, Ben, you know, your narrations are very intense and very detailed. And I love the fact that even though we were out of Echo of the Night, you still continued to pull on all the imagery and the things that were involved in the game when you were describing your mass at dawn phase. I mean, it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, you know, it's just a wonderful picture you're creating for the world around and with Lord Oda in it. So, I mean, I'm thanking you for that. Stars for that. And then, I mean, Jack, I mean, Mildred is so, she's so genteel and so tender when it's needed. I don't feel like she's like the witchy vessel, even though that's how it seems like it was gonna start. I don't know what kind of witch she is, but it's not the one that I think you intended when you started.
Oh no, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I'm yeah, it's yeah, you'll see what's going on now.
okay. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, there's more to come, I know,
Yeah.
but you know, we just haven't had a chance to see that back stuff yet, so I get that. And then Eirinar, I mean, like, you know, Smoke has a lot going on, and we haven't even seen, like, scrape the surface yet, and I can't wait to see more of them. And yeah, I mean, just the few that you went through tonight with the masks and the narrations. I mean, I'm getting a little bit more of a picture of Smoke, and it's still interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of them. And yeah, wishes. I mean, just I mean, I forgot. I thought that, like, you know, like, for whatever reason, I thought that you guys had resolved the Saint Cecilia's gargoyle. And it's like I was like trying to remember. It's like, oh, okay, so they didn't do it yet. But then I still tried to show you the rewards. It's like, oops, shit, ignore that, wipe that from your memory until it actually happens.
I didn't read it, so don't worry.
Okay.
I can't read, so it's fine.
Oh, stop. But anyway, yeah. So just ignore that. I mean, I hope you were, you know, good with how you answered the questions, and, you know, the resolve for Cremorne was very. I enjoyed that. I wasn't expecting it at all. I mean, like, you know, the way it turned out. Yeah, it was like a really nice ending for your first threat, and I hope you feel the same. I mean, like, and I hope you didn't feel like it was going to be like all like explosions and you know, terror, but I think it turned out very well. Yeah, so just wishes more of it. Like, you know, like to see where you guys go with this, and then hopefully next session we'll have everybody. And
It's
then
a major wish.
Yeah, it's a major wish. Like, let's get every player, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's my big wish, is just to make sure that everyone is able to be in the same session together, because I think that's when we'll start to see vulnerable moves. That's when we'll start to see different pairings, different dynamics start to form. Because we've got little tastes of them here and there, but I think once you get everyone in the same room, it's like, oh, okay, that's what's happening.
Right.
So stars, Mads, I thought the pacing for the night was pretty good. And I liked that you just kind of went for it. You know, Ben, and this is also the star for Ben. Ben wanting to fuck a demon. I'm, as a person, totally into it. And I know that could be like a bit of a thrown for a loop because it serves more of a narrative purpose than like a mechanical purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you handled that well. And I'm glad that you liked how we handled the creature threat. Because I think, for me at least, the thing that becomes like the least interesting is just sort of like killing and beating up a monster. You know, it's like, been there, done that. So like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think for certain games, for certain stories, it totally makes sense, and even for certain threats, it makes sense to like just kick the shit out of a bad person or bad entity. But I think it's really interesting when you start to find the kind of human connections with even the dark things.
Now I remember where your echo of the night came from. So when you were talking to the creature, there was distinct echoes from like the unseen with the, you know, the thought that Daniel had about his doe woman.
Make me something into, yeah.
Yep. So get that XP.
Hey.
I knew you had it. I just like could not remember for the life of me until you just said it. So
yeah.
It was that. I was like, oh, just like that was so beautiful. I mean, and it was beautiful. That was what I was really enjoying about that. I mean, like you were trying to, you know, talk this creature down and like not like let them hurt anybody else in the name of like trying to be something they're not. I mean, that was goddamn beautiful. Excuse me. You know, I mean, loved it. Star. So,
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, star for Eirinar for being able to show up and show out. I'm really excited to see, and this is kind of a star and wish, to see more about who they were before all of this happened and what kind of curse they have. Because so far we've just kind of gotten the conditions, but we haven't gotten like real details. So I'm excited to see more of that come out through both the masks and like the quickening and stuff like that. But just like playing into that condition of being agitated and just shooting the Gravedigger in the head, it was like, you're with the right hunter, because Lord Oda just wanted him for blood anyway. So like there's a kind of twisted dynamic that's going to form there that I think Smoke maybe doesn't even realize it yet, but they're going to be an enabler for him. Which is fine. I love it. But yeah, my wish is, other than just having everyone here, excited to see what the next 2 threats are, because we just solved one, but we only get to see one at a time. So but for me personally to be able to get some more masks marked, because I would be marking masks, but I'm rolling really well. And if I could,
now that you said it,
I'm invoking it. I'm welcoming catastrophe with my dice rolls. I'm manifesting. So yeah, that's it.
I'm looking forward to so I'm just gonna start with the stars. Oh my gosh. It was just really beautiful. Mads, I'm so glad that you know, I threw out I want to fuck a demon and you gave it, right? And I was like, yes. And it was just really great. And I'm really looking forward to Eirinar's transformations. I'm looking forward to Mildred Bloom's like version of the Coven. And I would love Coven is a little later, so that like we could like flesh them out, so they're not just like this black veiled folks, but like whatever she wants them to be. I think they're the nuns, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, you know, the leader at least was a nun.
Yeah. And I just think that's awesome. And see like what is the connection with Greco, because I feel like Greco is somehow at the center of our story, and I'm not sure why. Like he knows about Lord Oda. He like Mildred like is like, you chose him for a reason to come back into the story, right? And I would love Greco to somehow, like, I want us to see who he is in relation to Mildred Bloom. I think that would be awesome. What else? Yeah. And Mads, I would love you to make me scar my reflection. Or I love that you were just like, scar your reflection, Ben, multiple times. It was great. Thank you.
Probably should have made you scar like at least like 6 more times, but I mean, like, I'm not gonna get my undeniable out of the way too fast.
I do have 4 masks marked out of 12, so it's 1/3 through.
Damn. Ugh. Mm.
Thank goodness for threat masks.
Stars, I mean, fuck a demon, Lord Oda's descriptions. Like, you gotta start there, right? Yeah, no, I really did love like the entirety of the game. It was very, I don't know. I loved our answers they were fun. I love that we came up with like about 5 theories for each before going with like one of them. That was fun to do. Yeah, I liked I really did like the resolution of Creature of Cremorne Gardens. I liked how we did the whole, I like how Mildred was with her. Just sort of that conversation was very, I want to say intimate. I'm not sure how else to put it. And yeah, it was really nice. And of course, yeah, that was the fuck a demon. I don't know what else to say about that. I got to shoot a person, which is always nice. I got to shoot a person who was hurting my fellow hunter. I won't say friend, but yeah. So shooting people is fun. And yeah, I like the masks we got, like what, six masks, something like that. That was nice because Adam and Steve, like stars for Adam and Steve. I wasn't expecting that. I absolutely was not. I was expecting like, I don't know, a night of revelry or something in that nature of Lord Oda. I was not expecting that. Like, oh my god. And yeah, that was also like, yeah, just stars for both Lord Oda and Mildred. They're just such interesting characters. Like Lord Oda and his descriptions and his pulling animals out of thin air, and Mildred being like gentle. And I was not expecting the whole with like, sigils all over her body, and all of those descriptions were really pretty. Yeah. Wishes, I want to meet Elegos. Because we keep missing each other. It just keeps happening. What is it, like 3 sessions now of missing each other? Yeah. It
Ships
just
in the
does
night.
not work. Yeah, it does not work. It does not work. Hopefully I'll get to see him. Oh yeah, also stars for the night phase pacing. It was pretty good. Like I felt it was very nice today. Yeah, I think it was like a really nice night phase heavy session.
I mean, like pacing wise, I was really trying to push it, but I mean,
We had a pretty long dusk phase though. So
yeah, well, there was a lot to figure out before
Yeah.
I mean, because
Let's
we were
figure out-
answering questions and that kind of thing. That does take a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Regardless.
this is my first time playing as a player in the between.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and it was my first time really theorizing and like getting deep into it, and then like having the threat go, and it was just like the most pleasurable time. Like,
It is
you
so
spend
much fun.
time on it, and but I love the back and forth and the kind of negotiating what world do we want to live in. It was just super cool.
No, that is one of the more pleasurable like experiences, like when you get to answer a question and then like you're seeing what ideas are out on the table, and you guys have plenty of ideas. I said that's not a problem. It's just making sure that the ideas fit with what is in the in the
Yeah.
clues, to making sure that you have a decent roll. That's always the worry. So, but yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys take on more of St. Cecilia's Gargoyle, and then we'll see what the next the new threat will be next week. I mean, did have something planned, but obviously didn't get to it, so that's what it is.
Well, yeah, I'm curious because like Ben said, the the way that we solve clues kind of informs the world we live in. So I'm curious to see like what else is going to like develop within it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's exciting. And again, as you're building the world, you know, it's guys, it's like eventually there will be callbacks. So I look forward to bringing those out if I can. So
Yeah, my wish too is to know more about this Mr. Targaresh. I put his name in the sheet, but I don't. Obviously, not sure how to spell it. But
it's fine.
But yeah, I want to know a bit more about this mystery man.
Yeah.